Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind. This is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live. Thank you to those that are watching the replay, and welcome to our Aquarius full moon astrology, human design, and Jinky's reading. Excited to talk about this one because it's happening on my SQ sphere. And right now in the Moon Goddess Training Level 2, we are diving all into the Venus sequence and uncovering these shadows that show up in relationships. I've been guiding, Ashley and I have been guiding the Level 2 sessions, and they've been so powerful. And it's interesting that it's highlighting this area in my chart that is very important work if you really want to do some healing. So let me say hi to everybody that's here before we dive in. Hello, Diane. Welcome in. Good evening. Hello, Shayna, Michonne, Maria. How are you? Alyssa, Linda. If you guys are here watching live, please say hi in the chat. I love the chat interaction, the live chat interaction. And also make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to share it out if you feel called on social media. Let more people know that we are here coming live every full moon, giving all the information and channeling some powerful messages. And then also make sure to download my free moon astrology guide, which will tell you what your psychic gifts are based off of your moon sign. It enters you into my email list, and I send out a weekly moon magic report that goes out every Wednesday, but I'm also here on Mondays to do the weekly reading. So you get like extra days into the week with the report. And in the report, you actually also get announcements and courses that are coming up and events that I'm hosting. And there's a lot of free stuff available in our global community. Make sure to join the space. And yeah, excited to be here. Hello, babe. Hello, Carmelola. Okay. So, also in the description of this video is the invitation to join me in Christopher Witecki's Step Astrology School, which so far has been super fun. This week we are working on self-love. It's amazing. And I've been asking myself the question, what's my self-love response? And I was laughing about it the other day and telling my dog, Horace, what's your self-love response, Horace? Hello, Shala. Hello, Mary. Welcome in. And the Step Astrology system is learning about the degrees in astrology, which I feel there's a lot of people out there that have talked about it, but nobody has talked about it or does talk about it like Christopher Witecki. He has developed a system, in a sense, he channeled it, but it's developed into this really powerful way of understanding how the universe manifests and where you're at in that cycle, and what that means for you as the incarnation of your soul here on the earth. And it's amazing. And I'm having a great time, and I'm really excited about continuing to learn about the system. And I love the pace. I'm just like, okay, one step a week. I love the pace. There's a discount code. Come check it out. There's two options. You can do the personal or the professional. Either way, join us, because it is actually a really, really, really fun class in itself. And I love learning. And if you love learning, it's like you can't ever get enough. You know what I mean? So that is what's going on and what I wanted to invite you to. And what I would like to do now is talk about this Aquarius full moon that is happening on 8th into the 9th. Technically on the 9th, but tomorrow, the 8th at night, is when we'll see the moon the brightest at, when the sunset and the night comes. And then the next day we'll have passed the apex, because it happens like either really early in the morning on the 9th. But what's significant about this is that we are essentially experiencing this full moon literally on a Lion's Gate. So if you're not familiar with the Lion's Gate, it is not just any random day. Now, modern times, we have kind of taken August 8th and adopted it as sort of the, I guess, yearly time that we celebrate the Lionsgate. But I want to teach you what's behind that. Because August 8th, hello, Alicia, welcome in, is not the significant thing about the Lionsgate. August 8th is just a frequency, it's a number, it's numerology, and numerology is very powerful as well. But what's significant is where it comes from. So let's talk a little bit about that, because this full moon is in conjunction with this sort of modern day Lionsgate celebration. So first of all, the Lionsgate goes back to ancient Atlantis, when the Sirius star rose with the sun. And the fact that in ancient Atlantis, when that star rose, that is when their new year began, basically. And so it also marked a very important changing point in the seasons. Hello, Jeanette. Welcome in. Hello, Shelley. Basically happened right around Ludnasa, the celebration of Ludnasa, which we had it on August 1st, but it's around the same time that we're reaching the midpoint between the summer and the fall. So in the northern hemisphere, we in Ludnasa, in the celebration of in between the summer and the fall, is the most powerful fire energy. Right. So we're talking about the hottest sun, the hottest months of the summer, the really powerful energy of manifestation, just like activating, showing up in our lives. Hello, Stick and Stones. Welcome in. And it kind of matches this energy. And it's funny that in the tropical astrology, this is Leo season. And Leo season has to do with the lion. And in ancient Egypt, we've got the Sphinx. And we've got, you know, one of the... Hey, Natalie, so good to see you. I'm so glad you came to watch this video, because I was going to send it to you. I was like, have you ever watched my videos? I think it'll help. Okay. Anyways, I'm really glad you're here. So the connection that I'm kind of pointing us towards is the fact that in ancient times, we followed the stars. We literally followed the stars. And at certain points during the year, the magic would begin and the stars would mark the beginning of the magic. Hello, Paz. Hello, Anita. Hello, everybody. So we're all here. So yeah, that's the significance. Here's the other significant thing as well, is that also during this time, the ancient Atlanteans celebrated the days out of time, and the heliacal rising of Sirius happens on August 4th right now in modern times in Egypt. And what is the heliacal rising of Sirius? So Helios has to do with the sun. The sun rises and the star rises with it. That's the heliacal rising in the horizon. When the sun rises, when you start to see the Sirius star rising with the sun, that's when the Lionsgate is. Hey, Ash. So this is the significance. What I recommend you do, because that star rises at different times, it all happens around August, but it rises at different times around the planet. And so I actually looked up when it's rising here in Arizona, because I want to go out and see it, because I get the horizon here and I live in the desert. So I can actually look. I can go early in the morning and watch for it. And I'm really excited about that, because that's what I recommend you guys do, is that you actually go and watch and find out when does the Sirius star rise where I'm at, my location, and go have the experience of actually looking at it in the sky. You'll have to get up early and all this stuff, but it's super cool, right? You're like welcoming in the brightest star in the sky, connected to the Sirius star seeds, and connected to goddess Isis, connected to these ancient beings that were part of the seeding of humanity. The story of this planet have been helping us along the way. You may have had past lives on this star system. You never know. Hello, Trina. Welcome in. I know I feel a lot of deep connections to it. Also, I mean, I host this whole class called the Moon Goddess Training, and has a lot to do with the Sirius starseed energy. Love and abundance. So I love that. So that's why the Lion's Gate is significant. So it's not necessarily that August 8th is a powerful day other than the numerology event. Hello, Anastasia. But it's because we are celebrating the rising of the Sirius star. And then, so now we can see Orion too again, because we haven't been able to see Orion. And right around this time, we start to see Orion early in the morning, before the sun rises. You can see, I've seen it, because right now Venus and Jupiter are together, and they're together in right by the Gemini constellation in the sidereal, but they're in Cancer in the tropical. But anyways, they are together. They're coming together during this time as well, which is also significant, because Venus and Jupiter in Cancer in the tropical are going to be making the exact conjunction to the Sirius star on August 11th and 12th, which is literally the day, I looked it up, that the Sirius star will rise with the sun here in Arizona. Like I can't even, you can't make this shit up. I am so excited about this. So I'm going to get up early in the morning, and it was around 3:30 where I really saw them bright. And I'm going to try to get some pictures of it for you guys. Orion on the horizon. Just amazing, amazing stuff. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to start talking about the details about this specific full moon. We just connected it to ancient Atlantis, and we just connected it to the Sirius star. We just connected to the Lion's Gate. And I feel like a lot of some deep, powerful downloads are going to be coming in with this full moon. It is a full moon, and it's in Aquarius, and Aquarius represents, the future, represents the people, the community, and coming together, and a celebration too, right? A full moon is a celebration. This full moon takes us even closer to eclipse season, which is coming in February. I should probably make a video about that by itself, but when we get to that point, we'll talk about those eclipses. They are really crazy. So this is really a time to manifest, to create, to put things in the ground, and to enjoy, right? Leo season is all about creativity and passion, and you should let yourself be in the flow. And I'm having the best time this Leo season. I feel I feel good in my body. I feel, especially lately, I've been feeling more like flexible, just good in my body. And I hope that you guys are as well. So what I want to do is share my screen, but I'm trying to make sure that I just need to do this quick thing. Okay, here we go. All right, so here we go. Here is the basic structure of this full moon. So it's happening 16 degrees, 59 minutes, or 17 degrees, 0 minutes of Aquarius. It's activating Andromeda, which is liberation of the soul. Pleiades, so Andromeda would be Chiron, right? So healing, the wounded healer on Andromeda. Uranus on the Pleiades, pure light codes. The messages from the Pleiades are coming in. And then Venus and Jupiter on Sirius. Like, you just can't make this shit up. On the Lion's Gate, right? In Leo season. It's activating the third eye chakra. So the ability to see the unseen and hear the unheard. It's activating the nervous system of the body, which has to do with like the electricity that moves through your body, the kundalini that awakens, the communication. It's the body communicating with everything. It's the brain. Really, it's the brain communicating with every part of the body. The nervous system extends all the way to the fingertips, to the toes, like everywhere in the body. And it looks like veins, but it's not. And it's communication. So it's all about communication, and has to do also with the central channel, the Sushumna channel, and our ability to really truly feel life, like life force energy moving through our body, the sensations, through the nervous system we feel, or like the sense of touch is, the nervous system. So it's a really cool energy, and it's ruled by Uranus, which is the planet of change and revolution, and Uranus is on the Pleiades. And so you just can't make this shit up. So we're definitely receiving light codes from Pleiadian star family, or the star system itself. The stars, it's the neutrinos, right? Uranus is collecting the neutrinos of the information of Pleiades, aligning with it, and it's coming into us and bringing us information. And we're going to feel it in our nervous system. So it can feel like Kundalini rising. And then it's found in the 13th Jinky and the 13th gate. It's on the 5th line, which has to do with, there's leadership connected to the 5th line. There's an aspect of fixing something. There's an aspect of also projecting that we could be experiencing either onto ourselves or onto others. So we have to think about, how we can step a little bit more into leadership through this definition of the 13th gate. So we're going to hop on over to the astrology chart first and explore here. Then we'll look at the human design and the Jinkies. But the astrology that I think is the thing that draws me in a lot, like right away about this astrology, is this mystic rectangle. Let's see if I can draw it here. So there's a mystic rectangle here, and it's in between. You've got Mars over here, which he just entered Libra. So the other day, it was yesterday, I believe, he entered Libra. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with me? What the hell's wrong with me? Like, oh God, I was feeling so agitated. And I'm like, oh. Then the notification came in because I scheduled them beforehand. The notification came in that Mars entered into Libra. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was feeling the 29-degree Virgo shit. I'm just kidding. And it was like, so intense. And then Mars entered Libra and I relaxed a little bit. Even though Mars in Libra is in detriment and it's opposing Saturn on this full moon, it's still, for me personally, I felt like a calming of the energy. Mercury over here is on the other point of the mystic rectangle. And Mercury represents the mind. He's retrograde. He already did his conjunction with the sun. He's actually going to be, the next thing he does is he's going to go direct and then go through Leo again. But the significance between Mercury right now is that he rules Gemini, and we've got Uranus in Gemini. So they're kind of communicating together in some way. And Mercury is on I think he's on the 31st gate in human design, and the sun is on the 7th gate. And they're creating together the channel of the Alpha during this full moon. So Sun and Mercury are connecting with the channel of the Alpha while the moon is on the 13th gate. So there's definition because of the Sun and Mercury. So through the human design chart, they're actually connected and communicating. And think of what is Alpha energy? It's very much a lion, and they're in Leo. So it's kind of cool. On the other point is Saturn and Neptune. These guys are on the 25th gate, which is the gate of the spirit of the self. And they're, again, inviting us, initiating us into the hero's journey. They've been doing this. It's been a process that's ongoing. It's a long-term thing until next, I think, January or February, when they finally come together early next year, and they come back into Aries together, and they make their conjunction finally in Aries, and it's happening at 0 degrees on the 25th gate. So they're holding that front. And then you've got Pluto over here, and Pluto's having some beautiful aspects as well with Uranus. And then also, right, there's the trine to Mars, and then there's Uranus and Mars trining each other. So essentially, now I don't know, because I don't have everything pulled up, all the astros and everything, but there could be something in the sign of Sagittarius that would create a grand sextile, or like Metatron's cube, onto this chart, which would really activate it. I mean, I can check it. I can check and see if there's anything in a moment. But either way, we have this grand trine in air between Mars, Uranus, and Pluto, activating the mind, which activates Mercury. And then all these planets are coming together in communication. So it's like one thing, it's like what I feel when I see these aspects of like, and especially like trines and sextiles. So these are sextiling, right? These are sextiling. And so if we had something basically right here, we would have, this is what I mean when I say a grand cross. It would look like that. So there would need to be something here opposing Uranus around like 1 degree of Sag in order for this to be fully activated. So if you have anything right here, that planet in Sagittarius for you is finishing off the Metatron's cube and creating another grand trine in fire. So you see how beautiful this is? Like, this is major, like manifesting energy, activating energy. It's harmonious. So now I'm really curious and I want to see. So hang on. Let's add some planets and see if any of the asteroids. Whoa. This is why I don't add all that. It's just like, it's too much. And then it gets convoluted. I actually think it's really cool that Uranus is conjunct Sedna. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to Sedna. Sedna doesn't move very fast, but it's her mythological story that is very interesting. She's like the goddess of the ocean. She's like that feminine goddess for the Inuit, which is up in Alaska. And it's like their goddess deity. And her story is a little crazy. It's a little bit like Andromeda. It kind of, for her, it ends in like tragedy, but at the same time, in the end, there's a version of the story where she turns into the mermaids and she turns into the ocean creatures and all of that. And it's their story of creation. So I think that that's interesting. Now, I don't see anything here in Sagittarius, which is very interesting, but there could be something else. There's so many asteroids, you guys. There could be something else, but I want you to look at your chart. This is telling us to look at our own individual chart and see if there is something at 0 degrees of Sagittarius that is creating or finishing or completing this this grand trine. So you would just pull your chart up and look at what's happening for me in Sagittarius. Do I have anything around 0 degrees? Okay, let's go back to here. So here we are. We got a bunch of sextiles. We got a bunch of trines. We got a mystic rectangle, which adds a little bit of like spiciness to it, because if it was all just sextiles and trines, then we wouldn't necessarily, it wouldn't feel challenging. And with the challenging aspects, we get pushed into action. So in truth, this seems like a very beautiful, like it feels to me like a portal. And it feels to me like these planets are synchronizing with each other to bring us a message. They're working together is what I am seeing, what I'm feeling, with this. So let's erase what we've got here so far and see what else is going on. Well, we've talked about the planets involved in the mystic rectangle. We've got Mercury opposing Pluto, Mars opposing Saturn and Neptune. But because they create that mystic rectangle, that dissolves the tension. Because there is tension when it comes to the squares and the oppositions. So here is Venus and Jupiter very close together. Jupiter is only 1 degree from Sirius, so he's activating the Sirius Stargate energy, the literal Stargate in tropical on the freaking Lion's Gate, right? I mean, you got to think about all these things. Then you have, let's delete that. You do have a square here. It's within orb, not like super, super close. But Chiron and Pluto. So, and because Chiron was the planet that's on Andromeda, Well, Pluto is actually on Altair, which is the Eagle Star. So we got like Altair, we got Andromeda, we got Pleiades, we got Sirius. We even have Ursa Major, but not exact. 1 degree away, the sun is on Ursa Major. And if you really want to go deep into galactic stuff, Mars is on the supergalactic center. I mean, there's like a lot. There's a lot. I just pointed the ones that were the most obvious, the most like the strongest. But we have a square here, which means there's also a call, a push to find more depth in terms of any aspect in your life where you're healing your sense of self. But if we look at what is a full moon in Aquarius, we're talking about, I mentioned it, but we're talking about, this is the sign of friendship. This is the sign of communities. This is the sign of tribes. It's the sign of the future. It's the Aquarian age. It's also a full moon, which means it's a moment of like celebration and a moment of climax and a moment of culmination. So what is coming into completion in your life would be a really good thing to ask. What do you want to celebrate about this Aquarian energy? So you would also look at, do I have anything over here in this Aquarius energy? For me, I have my SQ sphere, which is my design Venus. So it's a subconscious desire that lives in this space for me. And like design Venus is not in my astrology chart, but it's in my human design and it's in my gene keys. And it holds this SQ sphere for me. And it's the 13th Jinky and the 13th gate. So we take this information about, so very harmonious, a lot of stargates, some oppositions that are kind of bringing in a little bit of tension, but again, working together, harmonizing together to open up a portal and receive like the understand. It's like, I feel like it's a door, right? It looks like a door that opens and you walk through. And again, if you have anything at 0 degrees, 1 degree of Sagittarius, you're going to have this powerful Metatron's cube, Star of David formation, 2 grand trines, 1 in fire, 1 in air, activated in your own chart. I really want to know if anybody has anything there. Can you tell me in the chat? But if you do, or in the comments, then this is a huge full moon for you, for everybody, but for people that have that placement. So now let's take what we find here, this message that we find here, this information that we find here, and start to look at it through the lens of human design. So here is the human design chart of this moon. And you can see that the only defined channel is called the channel of the Alpha. And it's defined by the sun and Mercury. The sun on the 7th gate called the, I think it's the gate of the, hang on, let me put this aside for 1 second. Can't remember the name of it. It's Skyping me right now. The gate of the role of the self in interaction. It's also called the army. The sun is there. So it is leadership qualities. It's also in the G center. So the sun and the moon are in the G center, which is the center of identity, which means that this moon is highlighting this aspect of identity and these 2 ways of identifying ourselves. But with this channel defined, we have the gate of the role of the self, the 7th, the sun, and then Mercury, the gate of leading. So essentially, this is calling us to lead through our voice. This is calling us to lead through our mind, to understand through the mind, Mercury. Remember, Mercury is retrograde. So it's like the call to like, there is a moment of reflection here. It's the invitation to reflect and contemplate so that you find the right way to connect with the right people, the right community, right? That Aquarius energy. Nice, mystical. I love that. They say I have 0 degrees Sag. Ooh, that's exciting. The portal is really open for you. And so this channel is all about being invited to lead, like being a natural leader, but being invited to lead, not pushing your way through. Almost like not even thinking or seeing yourself as a leader and then you're more likely to be called up to lead. You know what I mean? It's like humble. There's a humbleness here, right? This is people with an innate impulse to lead, yet who need to be invited or elected to do so, and people who are best showing others how to attain future goals rather than leading them themselves. So this is the energy of lead a horse. Teach, not lead a horse to water. That's so funny. Teach somebody to fish instead of fishing for them. This is this kind of leadership. It's communal leadership, which I love because it enhances the energy of this moon. And if we look at where the moon is, which is where, the full moon is on the 13th gate, which is called the gate of the listener, people who are natural listeners. I mean, I feel like this energy is going to call up, I feel like some people are going to be invited to step up and lead. And the best way for you to lead is to listen. So the moon is saying we need to listen. We need to listen to our community. We need to listen to what everybody needs. We need to listen. What do you need too? What do you need? There's a lot of gates that are active in the G center. We've got the 25th. That's where Saturn and Neptune are. We've got the 46, and that's where I believe it's, yes, that's what I thought. That's where Mars is. And that 46 gate is also a powerful energy. But all of these gates in the G center have to do with our identity. So this theme of identity is really big right now. We've got Uranus on the 20th gate, the gate of the now, calling us to be more present, to be right here in the moment. And remember, Uranus is the ruler of this moon. So the 20th gate is a very important one to understand the energy of the 20th gate. Let's actually pull it up here. The 20th gate is called the gate of the now. People who can only see life in the present moment. Everything has to be now. Hey, Dawn. And hey, Mary and Lisa. So we have to be present. That's what Uranus says. He's ruling this moon. We have to be present, gate 20, and we have to listen, gate 13. I wonder why. Because we are being called to step up and lead. And the ones calling us to step up and lead, I'm feeling are majorly the Pleiades. Majorly the Pleiades right now. They're activating that Uranus energy, but also Sirius. So at on the 39th gate is where Venus and Jupiter are. And the 39th gate is also kind of a little bit of an intense one, because the 39th gate is all about provocation, like provoking energy. But it's not just any kind of energy. It's like provoking you to feel, like provoking you to try to have an emotional reaction. Why? So that you can show your true colors. Anybody that has this energy, it's individual circuitry, but anyone that has the channel of provocation are people who are literally here, or the channel of emoting, it's called. 39 is the gate of provocation. The channel is called the channel of emoting. They have this energy of like intense moodiness, and they provoke because they need to see who you are. They need to see where you're at. They need to like see your spirit. And there's nothing like emotion to show the pure spirit. So we got Venus and Mercury on Sirius, like, I'm going to push you. I want to see where you're at. I want to see where you're at. We got Pluto on the 41, which is, it's Adam, right? Robert Comer. I did my podcast with Robert Comer. This is Adam, the beginning, the masculine energy. Pluto is all about transformation. The 41st gate is called the gate of contraction, right? So it's like it contracts so that it can expand. You can't expand unless you contract first. And then we've got the north node on the 22nd gate, which is the gate of openness. It's an emotional frequency. It's about like being clear and showing emotion, but at the same time, being very careful about how you express yourself. But it's also about Christ consciousness and understanding life through suffering, which is where the north node is, right? And then we've got the south node. Let's see if I think I need to the south node on the gate of realization. And this energy has more of a mental. Actually, let's pull it up because I'm curious. It's a mental frequency because it's found in the ajna, which is the center of the mind and thoughts and understanding. It's called, well, the gate of realization. People that always look to understand life by relating it to their own personal experience. So there's an aspect of understanding what's going on right now by relating it to our own experience. North Node is calling us to stay open, to be okay with like the process, to embody that Christ consciousness. Right? The moon is calling us to listen. The sun and Mercury, it's like you need to step up to lead. Yes, that's why you have to be fully present. 20th gate Uranus, to really step into leadership in the right way, to be invited to step into leadership. You're also encouraged to really fully step into the hero's journey and to know yourself and to know like also where you stand is a really big one so that you know where you're going. Like the direction forward will only be revealed if you fully know where you are now before you go anywhere with it, you know? So this is kind of a cool, interesting energy. I wanted to, the 46, the gate of determination, right? So like Mars is on the gate of determination. People who are always at the right place at the right time when they let go of their expectations. So let go of expectations, be present, listen, wait for the invitation to step up. The initiation is like the door is open to walk through this door to step into your hero's journey. Follow Christ's wisdom, Christ's compassion, Christ's consciousness. No, it's not in a religious way. Where do you know where you stand? And learn by not repeating the past. And if you feel that constriction, that's good because it means you're about to expand. Wow, that's actually really cool. I love it. I love when we bring in this energy of human design and we look at where everybody is. It gives you a different perspective. So right now the throat is defined. Well, it's going to be tomorrow, right? But I think it's probably already happening because this definition anyways, because the sun and Mercury are determining it. So you've got defined throat, speaking, and defined G-center identity. Identity coming through the voice of leadership is what it's literally happening here. So it's pretty freaking amazing, isn't it? Let's talk about the 13th Jinky. So the 13th Jinky moves from shadow of discord to the gift of discernment and the city of empathy. Discernment, it's about discerning the voice of the heart from the voice of the mind. Not that the mind is wrong, but that if it comes before the heart, we'll again have discord. We have to discern the heart first and then bring the mind. Whoa! Because the moon is here, which is the heart. Well, it's the emotions. And Mercury, the mind, is on the 31st, which is the leadership, right? In order to really fully step into empathy and discernment, we need to know the difference between what our heart wants, what our mind wants, but the heart always comes first. It's literally described as listening through love. Holy moly. It's magical. And it's part of the codon ring of purification. The ring of purification guides humanity to evolve through progressive cycles of cleansing and purification. So this full moon is a purification. It takes us on a journey through the purifying fires of consciousness. This is like Leo vibes also, Leo season, where our beings begin to relinquish the hold of desire As one of the great human genetic battlefields, there is now a large body of scientific evidence linking its amino acid glutamine to various functions and malfunctions in your gut. Symbolically, what might draw a connection between how effectively we human beings process our past and how effectively our body eliminates waste. Damn, this is purification, y'all. We should all do some kind of like a purifying thing, like purifying ritual. That's what I would recommend. Let go, make space, make a little fire, you know, do a little dance, get down a night. I'm just kidding. Even if you have the 30th, does anybody have the 30th? Because this story is a part of who you are. If you have the 30th or the 13th, this story is a part of who you are. And it's being highlighted and shined upon and illuminated by the full moon. So it's like it shines a light and it's like, are you listening? Are you paying attention? Because I'm going to make you pay attention. Listening through love. So let's look a little bit deeper into what that means. I love reading the description from the book about it. So, the city of empathy. The great cosmic hub. The 13th city, like its partner, the 7th city, has a much secret wisdom hidden within it. Our DNA is an incredible substance. It contains all the memories of our entire species and even those earlier life forms from which we descended. Like a fractal shard of God itself, DNA forms the living, vibrating link to the beginning of life on this planet. Even more profoundly, it connects us to the seed from which our very universe was sprouted. It is through this 13th city that information from our collective past can be recovered. What? That's right, because it's connected to the 30. It connects to the 33rd. Oh my God. Like a kind of cosmic librarian, it has all the access codes. This is nuts. To every volume ever written on the pages of life. Wow, we can access the Akashic now? We are not just talking information here, but experience. The 13th city can unlock the essence of what it is experiencing, what it is to experience being a wild panther or a strawberry or a mollusk. This is the power of empathy. These days, most people use the word empathy without grasping its deeper connotations. As a fairly modern word, it is almost always confused with sympathy, a much older word coined by Aristotle. In the language of the 64 Jinkies, empathy represents a acidic vibration and as such cannot be grasped by the mind because true empathy has nothing whatever to do with the mind. The prefix M means within, whereas the prefix sim means with. Herein lies the key to understanding the word. Whereas sympathy means to feel with another person, empathy means to be inside that person. Most people cannot conceive of being inside another person. Well, I can. I'm a projector. So the term has come to be seen as metaphorical and is generally understood as being a mental or emotional projection onto or into another person. Let us reclaim that the true power of this simple word. The city of empathy requires complete dissolution of the individual self. Once identification with one's form has been cut, empathy reveals itself as the background awareness of all living forms. In other words, we really are inside each other. Whereas sympathy requires two, empathy demands one. We have seen that the foundation of this 13th Jinky is based on listening. Indeed, at the level of the 13th city, listening becomes all there is. Like a black hole, this listening absorbs everything that moves into it. Space, time, everything. Eventually, listening becomes so total that it fuses together subject and object so that the concept of listening itself disappears. This gives a small hint of what the city of empathy really means. it is interesting to note how vehemently mass consciousness has always feared the number 13. In traditional folklore, 13 gained a bad name through the system of tarot, in which it stood for the death card. These ancient esoteric codes are always founded in an original truth. Empathy is indeed a death. It's the death of a separate self that reveals the underlying nature of humanity. Empathy is the truest sense of organ of humanity, but it cannot function through the individual, only through the collective. The 13th city and the 7th city program each other through time. The 13th, being the reciprocity of the past, or repository of the past, programs the future of humanity, and the 7th programs the past. Holy shit. I gotta read that again. The 13th, being the repository of the past, programs the future of humanity, and the 7 programs the past. This statement may appear to make no sense, but at the Siddhic level, it is a truism. At the Siddhic level, the seed and the fruit exist within each other because of each other. We think of the future being uncertain, whereas the past is in fact just as uncertain because of how it is remembered. This is the power of myth. It can take an event or a series of events in time and make them immortal. To be empathic is to have access to the egg out of which all the great myths have sprung. Empathy alone goes further and deeper than myth because it reunites the opposites and brings an end to the stories themselves. Empathy is a state of consciousness outside of time, even though it enfolds time. Again, this is symbolized by the mystery of the number 13, which stands for the hub of the great wheel of 12, the mystic number of the Grail, and at the center of the round table, or the Christ, encircled by his 12 disciples. It is the number of Arachne, the spider, the mystical 13th sign of the zodiac. She sits at the heart of the web of creation, and through her legs, she remains in constant empathy with all that is. There is a huge fear to be absorbed before you attain a Siddhic state. It is, in the case of the 13th city, this involves a complete absorption of the universal discord of the 13th shadow. The human interpretation of this fear is the experience of feeling cut off from all that is alive and warm. It's an ice-cold zone in which aloneness is experienced as agony. However, through the purging of this experience, the 13th city opens its eyes on a new world, a world in which the past has been magically transformed into a radiant new future. We might recall here that this Jinky is part of the ring of purification. The human addiction to desire comes to an end in the Siddhic state of consciousness, and it is said that one's spirit shall no longer return to the earth, but take a birth in a higher sphere of existence. These are mythic rather than literal interpretations of what occurs to such a person. All the great esoteric interpretations, karma, rebirth, justice, must be mythic rather than literal, since the true Siddhic state cannot be conveyed through words. In universal empathy, you enter the center of the human family and become one with all that is. Those who awaken to the truth of their consciousness through this city will become beacons that live on in our history. These people have learned the deepest art of all, the art of listening. To sit in the presence of such a person is to be healed through being listened to. Listening at this level is no longer a passive phenomenon. It is actually quite a forceful cleansing at the auric level. To be listened to by the great cosmic mother is to have all your fears brought to the surface and loved into oblivion. These people are the most powerful of all shamans. They can open the portal of the past within you so wildly that you become aware of yourself as a greater cosmic receptacle rather than a point of focused identity. They can show you that all creatures and beings dwell within you. And that if you open yourself widely enough to our collective past, you will also see our collective future. To such a being, the holy state of perfection known as the fellowship of men is a constant and manifest reality. Wow. Listening through love. Dang. This is a big one, you guys. This is a powerful one. I invite you to contemplate all that information, to look at where this is happening in your chart. Do you have anything in these placements, near these places, the ones that I mentioned? That's how you integrate the information. And then on a full moon, you sit and you listen. On this one, we listen. We're present and we listen. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. That was really fun. I'm very excited about this full moon. And I hope that you have an amazing full moon. We're going to be live tomorrow night to do the ceremony. So come back same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's an intuitive broadcast. I'll do a reading. I'll chant sacred songs. We'll do our own ceremony ritual, and then I'll sing and play my song, my music. So hopefully you can come and hang out with us for that as the moon rises. And I wish you an amazing full moon, a good weekend, a happy and powerful Lionsgate. Look up when the Sirius star is rising, where I'm at, my location, and celebrate the new year, the new energy coming in. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Satnam.